People normally neglect us. People think that if you are visually impaired, you give them bad luck.
In fact, the same before your Ghana, I had punish more day.
I asked him for the corona, spoil everything for me.
There are an estimated 5 million disabled people in Ghana. Many of them live life on the edge. And this year, as the world is in the middle of a monstrous coronavirus pandemic, their lives have gone from bad to worse. And even though Ghana's response to the disease has been hailed as a global success, most of these people have largely felt left behind. Ghana now has over 68,559 recorded cases with close to 500 deaths. After a nosedive in the numbers at the end of 2020, hopes were high that the end of COVID-19 in Ghana could be near. But that did not happen. But with the surge in the numbers at the beginning of 2021 and the new strain of the virus found in the country, no one is sure what could happen next. And the uncertainty and pain of life under unbearable restrictions are back again. But in all of this, where are the country's disabled people? My name is Justice Bedu, and in this film for Joy News, I will be following 3 of them.
My name is Ahmed Garba. My age now I do like 45. I do training, football. I start football now like 15 years.
Kickoff in downtown Accra. A rare space for happiness for some of the city's disabled people. Once every week, some of these amputees come here to play football. A lot of them have no homes. Many live rough on Accra's street with very little support. Many of them are people who suffered polio in childhood.
If I score the ball, I dey happy, papa. Because before you score the goal, you go suffer. You go wound. Somebody go push you. The thing, if you score the goal, I dey happy myself, papa.
Ahmed first came to Accra in 2001. At 5 years, he suffered from polio, nailing him down and leaving him bedridden for the years that would follow. Ahmed ran a provision store in Accra, opened for him by someone who found him on the streets. It was with that store that he took care of his wife and 4 children. The provision store was already facing bad times as its capital dwindled. When COVID-19 struck, there was a lockdown, and he says his store collapsed due to the poor sales. Now, he's back on the streets to beg again.
But the corona came, she spoiled everything for us. Because no training, nothing. I get wife, I get children. Before the corona go, I suffer too much. But unless, thank God, because I didn't sick cry. But the one I will chop, I suffer before I get.
Kofi Esel has been pulling himself through Accra's traffic for more than 10 years now. Before this disease, he says, his life like many others with him on the streets, was dependent on handouts from people who would drive by on these roads.
Before Corona mba no, na ba kwa ba nyame aduma o, utuminya kakra, obi etumika obi akoma kwa 100 cedis ka utumiya den. No dey amount. Eto se bi so enya kwa betumenya 60 Ghana na 70 cedis. Odi bia de abefi abedidi. Corona ba de, ede me kese minye ska me boa, minye ska. Ede kwa menya kwa 30 Ghana na 40 cedis. Ya leniti obi wa obecho ade kwa na aisha wo hwe nose mask one hwe nose mask o mawo ena one o bia no so we kete so nose mask asa no ade wa bia no te eno so kan na me corona na me emu ye den kakra.
My name is Ahmed Potiphar Eshiri.
Potiphar lives in the small town of Pokrum in Sabah in the eastern region. As a blind teenager, he has honed his craft for years as a musician and an instrumentalist.
If you give me instruments and you tell me you will not give me food, like I would like me, because me, I like where there is singing and other stuff. When they sing and I'm in the church, I just throw all those kind of thinking bad things and then I'll be feel free. So sometimes I can be there and they will just pray and leave, and I'll be there playing the instruments and singing myself because I don't feel like coming back home, yeah, because I like singing, yeah.
For him, life was already tough even before the virus. Potiphar's story is even worse. All his siblings are disabled. Anita Amedi, his sister, is blind. Patricia Amedi, another sister, also mentally ill. George, Anita's husband, he too a blind man. They all live in the same home with Potiphar.
They normally say because of our bad luck. That's why I want every time when they give birth to someone, that person too is visually impaired. So let's say sometimes what they normally say is visually impaired as a for like in front of the away. We eat once in the day. Yeah, we sometimes we eat once in the day. It's because of poorness.
Potiphar schools are the Ekropon School for the Blind, one of the very few centers of learning for visually impaired children in Ghana. When the government closed schools in March 2020 at the height of the pandemic, some students benefited from virtual classes. He has no learning device, and the government virtual learning plan had no clear alternative for children with special needs like him. And so for 10 months, he did not study at all.
COVID-19, it has affected me because, you know, people normally learn at they teach people will come to the television and they will teach the students and other stuff. Me per se, you know, I don't have lights and I don't have a laptop too, so that like if I have a laptop, I can just use my laptop to learn. Because of COVID, I did not learn anything. If I tell you right now that when the time that the lockdown was there, I learned. I'm telling lies because our materials. That's what I said. Our materials and like the teachers, the visually impaired teachers or the special teachers that who come and teach us, they did not bring them on the television set. So it was difficult for us to also learn with the visually impaired. And if you are me per se, if you are not having laptop crana, then there you are killed.
At the height of the pandemic, William Isel, himself a physically challenged person who teaches at the University of Ghana, led a study to find out how people like him had been hit by the pandemic.
There were persons with disabilities, like any other person that happened to lose their job. Obviously, because of the situation of disability, it was one, they are found to be the most vulnerable. Two, in the employer letting employees off, it appears that the persons with disabilities were easier to let off at that point. We had some persons with disabilities who had to agree on a reduction in their income, just a reduction in salary, so as to ensure that they remain employed.
My name is Christopher Agbega. I am the COVID-19 project officer for the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations. My job started when the whole COVID-19 situation hit the country in March of last year. Already, you see, you have persons with disabilities dealing with existing conditions in a society where there are also some gaps, some levels of stigmatization and discrimination, and then you have a pandemic coming in. Persons with disabilities, according to according to what we know, persons with disabilities, there's a large number that fall below the poverty line, so that alone brought a certain level of fear, panic, anxiety amongst the disability community. You have persons with disabilities who have challenges in adhering to these protocols, not because they don't want to, but because of their condition. So you have a person with respiratory conditions who can't put on a nose mask because it then affects his already damaged breathing system. You have a person who uses a wheelchair. So practicing social distancing is a problem because that person needs care, or even other forms of disability needs an assistant. So how then do you practice social distance when you have to be close to an assistant?
Please find me.
Isel lives in a tin shack inside a slum around the Kotoka International Airport in Accra with his wife and 3 children. His children have had to stay home even when all children went back to school early this year. Isel says he has no money, and even though he wants a better life for his children, he cannot fund it now as he doesn't get enough from the streets where he begs because of the pandemic.
Corona bad, my baby, actually, I'm in Kwanenu. The test of it costs a back one, who never become happy. It's a basana. The soldier phone a guided Kwano. Want to also say one young one cocoon, uncle Paka car, which if you are combedo, and I also feel so be on baby said by this car. Never quite it to Corona bad and in Pabra pa. Sebi a mi be kromo a ebi a se mi nya be se 50 cedis na me de 30 na ma oba no na da kokoma ko di da be aduane si ho na di 20 no e di 10 cedis ato na di 10 cedis na de atoto pure water ni nso bi na ade na ato bi na di 10 cedis na choke sa na me e di
Devi awa ye no ka se me se ka me njai ni chidi me so me na wu me ntimi nyede anya ni sa me so me hu ni sa na me so me yede me di ni chi me busi afo ka bo muta ka ba me se no na me nfulo jai na na ba na di we be di kwabo na ye nya ofiase Sis Cassam, yeah, the lockdown a buy so on cock on no be in Chanadi, no so on fine you. Better 3 years in Jumasem. And my man is from Munku school. And we couldn't Jumaya Bassa. At times we did Betty Crabble. Eh, dear my Sikasem. It's now. I said, in your manner, and Koye, Kakra, and man. So I'm a tongue, but Sikasem to me be a bear Bassa.
Ahmed, like many of the disabled people who play in this game, look forward to making a career out of the sport.
My name is Albert K. Frimpong. I'm the founder, initiator, and promoter of skate soccer here in Ghana.
Their team has played in national tournaments staged in Accra and were preparing for a Skate Soccer African Cup before the pandemic struck in 2020. For 10 months of restrictions during the outbreak of the pandemic, the government banned public gatherings. That included sporting activities like skate soccer. Ahmed and his friends could not train during the period. When they returned in December 2020, the private companies who sponsored their game had also run into bad times, and all of them, feeling the pinch of the pandemic's effect on business, withdrew their funding for the sport.
They've regained the lost self-respect. People had no respect for them, but this project has brought back the respect, the love, and people treat them better. Through the Skate Soccer project, they've been able to see other countries. Some have slept in hotels for the first time. Some have gotten jobs because other people saw them through this project. A lot of them are no more begging. They are living like normal human beings. Not the way I expect, but there's a very big improvement since I first met them. When the lockdown was put in place, it took a toll on us because some of us had to hit the road to go find them food, sanitizers and everything. We worked very hard. We got them some food, both Accra and Kumasi. We got on 2 or 3 occasions, we got people to come in. But that's it. They still need a lot of, this is a capital intensive project. So when you're the one leading the whole project goes down, the project goes down as well. So it's been very, very tough. 2020, we've entered a new year and it's still not looking too okay so far. When there was a ban and we had no opportunity of practicing, then they could also not go out to look for something to eat, as it were. They could not go and beg. So then there was a lot of pressure on us. We had to hit the road. Where they couldn't go, we had to go and find them something to eat. And we managed to get something for them. Some good friends of ours came to our aid and gave them food. That took them a week or 2 each. So after that time, some of them had to go back on the streets. They had to sneak or hide and go on the street to find something. It's not been easy at all. But it's only God who has kept all of us okay until now.
Gwamnati ya kawo mana abinci rana guda wanda muka san da shi kenan. Kafin samu abincin nan wani na wahala. Kuma saboda kokuwa mutane sun yawa kan abincin nan. Kuma abincin da ce akwai gari, akwai dundu, akwai manja, akwai oil, akwai wake. Abin da aka kawo mana kenan. Amma batun wai kudi mu ba mu ga kudi ba. Kudi dai ba wanda ya kawo mana kudi. Honorable wanga ya sunan shi ma ne ba wanga empin zangonga shi ya kawo mana wani abinci ne wanda aka dafa an kawo mana abinci da aka dafa aka kawo mana nawa zai ishe mu bai isa mu kuma yayi bai isa mu kuma abinci da fefe ne aka raba pa guda ina da yara biyu da mata mai pa guda zai min bayan shi ne abin da na san da shi kenan. Ba ni kaɗai ba, ban son gwamnati ya taimake ni kaɗai, ina so gwamnati ya taimake disabled people. Kuma inda za a yi taimakon disabled people na, in aka ce an sa hannu mai lafiya ne, kuɗin bai zuwa. Kuɗin bai zuwa. Amma in an sa hannun guragu ɗan wanmu, to kuɗin ya zo hannunmu. Amma aka sa hannun wani kuɗin ba zai zo ba. Kuma menene gaskiya muna neman taimakon gwamnati saboda menene mun samu kaman 6 months muna lockdown 6 months na ba wasa bane sai muna taimako mu dai a taimaka mana ya zamanto bana da muke kan begin kan hanyar nan ai mana kokari a taimake mu a ba mu shi ba taimakon za a dauke kaman 50 Ghana ko 100 Ghana ba ka ce an help naka ba wanga help nan bai tafiya domin an dauke kaman 5 million ko 10 million ba ka na ka biya hayo ka ci abinci da matanka sai yasa kaga taimakon bai amma me in aka samu maka inda zaka zanna ka nemi kuɗi ka ci abinci wurin nan ka zanna ni taimakon da nake kokari gwamnati ya samu disabled Ghana ya taimake su da shi domin mun sofa mun yi wahala saboda kuma corona ya bari yanzu komai namu ya bata ya samu na roƙon gwamnati in Allah ba mu sa gwamnati ya samu ya hakuri ya duba mu don disabled Ghana suna da yawa akwai wani zango akwai wani nanga suna da yawa sai samu na kokari ya taimaka mana.
It's an unexpected experience that you have to live through, whether you have no option. I have no option. I have to go through it, and I have to go through it already burdened with what I am already going through as a person using a wheelchair, going around. Practicing social distancing for me is it's impossible because I would need assistance. If I'm getting into a vehicle, I need assistance. You know, if I'm getting, and the cost of even going through this whole pandemic is high. The cost of living, the cost of, you know, taking care of yourself, because persons with disabilities, or for myself, my daily or living expenses is more than any other person, because for example, my mode of commuting is more on the Uber and, you know, the private transports, not the public. I can't use that because they are inaccessible. I can't get in the trotro with the wheelchair. So you can understand how expensive that is. The anxiety levels. I'm at home, but you are watching TV, you are seeing all these numbers going up. And I also fall under the category of high-risk patients. So you know that because I have a compromised immune system, if it affects me, it is going to be a bit difficult for me to recover than another person with a good immune system. So, you know, the psychosocial complications has been high.
God bless me today. Me, raga na mi ragi, any a cappella. And I'm yard on. Some percent Ghana, like Nipa Bisano or some boy.
Esel is also a rapper. I have asked him to take me to the bar in the heart of Accra where he goes to train. And for him, some of the many challenges he faces is moving himself around.
I have some foka totroa with Serbia front is any panetoa, obesi from no na back. There is an panicho. No my top front seat, you know. I remember my parking my bike and I show one side, then my turn one side. Not just my top seat back home, let me check her. My boss was the same thing and I'm in the back. I can't so class, I can't for a crowd. And your baby obey you come back on one half baby. I feel like I long far away. I said no could do James Town one more. That's the big one of my job. They know why I should get ready to shock your life now. Everything is on. Let me know boys to be in them. But I'm on our question here, sir. Yes, I just car. Oh, it means I don't go for quite fair. No, yeah, the box is so I'll back up. Come on, one minute, baby. And I'm going to go one day. And the boys need to make on as big. Matty says, you must supper until your wife married. You call your call. I'm up for who say, who's up, better, when you be, or that song, I'll be free. I'm going to say, I'm going to
We need to learn. This is an experience that we are not going to forget anytime soon, so we need to learn. We aren't an afterthought. We are also citizens. Persons with disabilities are equal citizens. Persons with disabilities are even more able than you can imagine. And so it shouldn't look as though, oh, okay, let us think of the bigger picture and then look at them later. No.
As the world is planning for a post-COVID-19 era, many, especially Ghana's disabled people, brutally battered by this pandemic, will be keenly looking forward to see where they will be placed in the plan for the future.